welcome to the new trucking standard brought to you by the Federation of Professional Truckers. We're here to rebuild the industry from the driver's seat through real talk, shared stories, and straight up education. Glad to have you rolling with us. Now let's hammer down. All right. Well, you've got Cupcake and Ricky Bobby here. He is our Frenchman from the FOPT. Doing I think this is our sixth podcast. I'm going to turn it over to Ricky there and just let him tell everybody about who he is, where he comes from, give him a little background, and then we're going to dive into some good shit today. So it's all yours, brother.
All right, thank you, Cupcake. All right, I'm Ricky Bobby, Pablo. I'm French, so you guys know. So my French Tennessee accent. So I'll speak slow so you guys can understand me. You see, I speak English, I learn English, I read English. I'm a truck driver now for over 30 years, 25 years in US and more in Europe. I'm an owner operator on my own business and all the good stuff. Topic today was about immigration. Oh, look at that. I'm a French guy, you know. So it's a perfect topic, I believe. Now, my experience about what I think about the illegal immigration and what's going on in the system right now. First of all, I come here in US legally. I did not cross the border. I didn't jump on the boat. I shouldn't jump on the plane, legally. You got a process to do so, and when you move to another country, you adapt yourself to the culture. So if I move from France to US, number one, I learn English, read English. Number two, I learn the culture in here. I don't expect people to learn my culture from France and adapt themselves. No, I adapt myself to the country, to the great country in the state of America. That's the deal. That's basic stuff. Now, I know you have a lot of problem outside here, like DACA, That's my take, okay? And people may don't like it or they like it. I make the way legally in here. Why can I? Why can you not? All those DACA, they've been here for 25 years, 20 years. Guys, you have plenty of time, all those years, to apply, have a green card, and be legal. And then we're coming to the part in here, they're all crying because what we're going to do, we speak English, we learn English, we got a family, but you got 20 years to face that issue. And that was not impossible. You could have done that and be on the right deal. And that's my case, That's my part. If I can do it,
I don't know the exact process of becoming a United States citizen, and maybe you can expand upon that some on how that process works coming from another country into America.
Sure. Well, the deal is that, when you move, I'm a permanent resident. That's my statute. Okay? Permanent resident. So that means I have the same right as any American, but I cannot vote. This is a federal offense. That's the only thing you cannot do it is vote.
Okay.
As a permanent legal resident. That's the only thing. So, and I'm looking about get my U.S. citizenship so I can have my say-so at the voting process, And just to everybody know, if you are permanent resident or why not, you have to understand, you cannot vote. If you vote, it's a felony. You will never get U.S. citizenship if you do so. That's a big issue, all right? I understand that. There's a law, there's the law. But when I move in U.S. in here, what I did have to do is hire an attorney, explain why I want to move in U.S., pay my attorney fee, have a hearing, go over there, take my case, and show them that I speak English, and adapt myself to the culture. And for 6 months, when you move in US, you cannot work. That means you have to be understand that you need to have your money in your pocket to come in here in US for 6 months and buy you some food. Don't ask for the government for any kind of SNAP card or benefits. You have to just make sure you're fine for 6 months. If you work in the 6 months, yeah, that's not legal neither. So you have to be careful. When you move, don't work. Get your money before. Move in here. Before 6 months, you make yourself. After 6 months, you got like a temporary card, which that
Okay.
allow you to work with the social security number. When you get that,
Okay.
you can start to work again legally. And yes, when you have a social security card, you're legal. You can apply for a CDL. Okay. So after 6 months after that, you have your permanent resident card, which you open to the market. Now you can
You can legally go work
freely
for whatever you kind of want to go
apply
do.
for whatever,
Okay.
apply for,
Okay.
for
Okay.
exactly, exactly. But you have a process to do so. So if you cross the border illegally, you don't have those steps. You try to bypass those steps, which is illegal, then you're
Right.
not legal.
Right.
Then
And I've talked about that
it's a
before with a
felony.
lot of people about, you know, my my stance on it is I don't care if you're, an immigrant to the United States as long as you did it legal. Because I have enough friends like you, Pablo, or Juan or Miguel or Abraham, which Abraham came from Africa. Juan and Miguel came from Latin America, and you all did it the right way. You all went through, you made the steps, you did the process, you did it the way
Yep.
you're supposed to do it. And my thing of it is I guess my take on it, as you say, is how is it fair to someone like you or to someone like Juan or Miguel or Abraham that how is it fair to them that they come here and did it the right way, and but yet all of these other people don't want to come here and do it the right way. They want to jump in line like at the grocery store, and they want to jump in front of 15 people and check out just because they are who they are. You know, you're not special.
Plus, plus it's even bigger than that.
Right.
When you apply, you have a full background check. Some country take maybe 3 months. Some country maybe take 6 years. 6 months. I'm sorry. So my deal is that if you're coming here illegally, you don't have no other
Right, right.
process.
There is
So
that,
we don't know who
and
you
that's
are.
where I know a lot of people I've heard talk about in the news and stuff like that. The background check side of it, with the fact of are we letting someone in here that has done a bunch of heinous things in their native country and could possibly do those same heinous things in the United States? You know, do we want to allow that person in here? In my opinion, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree a lot of times. So once they're one thing, a duck is a duck. If it quacks like a duck, it looks like a duck, and it walks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So, I'm not saying that people can't change because yes, I do
You're right.
believe people can change. They can make themselves a better person. It's whether it be drugs or alcohol, gambling, whatever the case is. But at the same time, do we want to take that chance? That's where my thing is if you're working for like one of the cartels, how do we know that that person is not doing the human trafficking? How do we know that person is not bringing in the fentanyl, the heroin, all that stuff? I'm not so much worried about the marijuana side because, well, at this point, we've got like what, 24, 25 states that have legalized it recreationally. Like that's going to change the United States eventually. But the other hard stuff,
Hmm.
like they had that one I think I seen at the border that they caught a tanker bringing
Yeah.
over, what was it, like 50 kilos of fentanyl? I think they said that's enough to kill like what, 5 million
Yeah.
people or something
Hmm.
like that. It's insane. You know, yeah, those are the ones they've caught.
And that's the one. That's the one they caught.
Yeah,
Think about the one. That's the one they caught. And again, the big deal is we need to have like a vet process. We have a vet process, but people need to
right,
go by the vet process. And you're welcome in here in US. No, I've been so blessed and so happy to be here. And I will fight
right.
everything for this country. If happen one day if your friends in America get a war together, Yeah, I'll be with US. I won't be with France.
I got you. I got you.
Because I've been almost living half of my life in US. You know, now my
Right.
family, now my kids in US. You know, everybody's
Right.
in US. And for me,
Right.
it's my country here. France is like my second country. You know, so that's the deal. But about trucking, about the illegal immigration, about trucking, it's a big issue. Think about all those illegal or people don't speak English coming crossing the border. We talk about the
Right.
fentanyl they caught, but what about the one they didn't caught? They're coming in a border, they go across,
Yeah.
we don't know who they
Yeah.
are, and we have a major issue. And that's why I say, if you don't speak English, if you cannot read English, you have no business to drive a truck. No business at all. Sorry. For our safety, for our safety to people, for your mom or your dad or your sister or your brother driving a car. Now, I see so many trucks and in so many shipper, people don't
That's
speak English.
disrespectful to the people.
What's
Yeah.
going on? That should be stopped right there. Exactly. Plus, you go to a truck stop, like me, But I remember 20 years ago, those truck stop was much cleaner than it is right now. Now we see bottle of water everywhere, we see trash everywhere, no respect, nothing. And again, it's not much about the
Yes.
language, it's about the culture. If you're coming in US, adapt to the culture. Don't
Right.
expect us to adapt ourselves to your culture. You're coming from Africa, Afghanistan, India, anywhere in the world,
Right.
you adapt yourself
Right.
to the
And
culture of
I've
the
said
States
that
of
to a lot of
America.
people that I've talked
Period.
to that have said, well,
No,
well, what would you do if you went to work in another country? If I can't speak that language, that's disrespectful to those people. If I'm going into a shipper and the only thing that I speak is English, and we'll just say that I go to Japan, and the only thing that those people in that shipping department are they speak is Japanese, it's disrespectful for them for me to make the assumption that they need to, somehow assimilate themselves into what I need. No, I've came to these people. I've came into this country, and I'm working over here. I should be respectful enough to pay attention to their values, their ideology, because it's a culture, like you say, and that a culture is a massive people that usually all think, feel, and kind of believe the same way. Now, I do understand the United States, we are kind of like the melting pot of the world. We have so many different cultures inside of our culture that has helped to create our culture, I guess. So, but at the same time, when you look at it, what, probably 90%, well, probably 99% of the people in this country speak English, that are American citizens, they speak English, you know.
yeah.
Yes,
Well, it don't matter.
I do
There's
know
the law.
this.
The English is the law of the country. And again, you want to be lawful, learn English. Now, question. How did I learn English? How? Because anybody can do it. I don't care what country you are. That's
Right,
how I did it. In 3 months, I learned language. I learned English. Never been to the school. What I did,
right.
I told you before, for 6 months you cannot work. Okay, well, for 3 months, because I learned English in 3 months, I was studying English
I've heard a lot of people say
with
that about
subtitle
if you want to learn a language,
in
watch it
English.
in that and put it in the English subtitle or whatever. Yeah,
Exactly, because so you can hear and watch and read English, number one. Number two, a lot of people make a big
oh,
mistake in here and they buy a translation. So, like me, it will be English to French or French to English. No, forget about that. Pick up a dictionary, English to English. If you do not understand a word, open a dictionary and learn what that
okay.
word means in English. So you force your brain to, it's an exercise, you force your brain to learn English. The day when you teach English to speak English, it's it. It's the key. You need to think English to speak English. And when you
Right.
have that done,
Right.
you
Well,
got
that
it.
makes sense because
You
when you
got
do think, or at least when I think, because I mean,
that's the key.
I speak some languages not fluently, but I know some words in some other languages. But when I do think, I am thinking to myself in my native language of English. So that does make a lot of sense. That really does.
And see, when my sister's coming up from France, on my border, then it's a brain exercise. Then I switch my brain.
Okay.
Then
Yeah.
think French
Okay.
to speak French.
Okay. Okay.
It's a
I
it's a
got you.
mental exercise.
Well, I mean, I know anybody could do it because I've met
But you
people
can
that
do it.
speak 30
You
languages
can do it.
fluently. And as you say, you have to be able to think that to be able to
Yep.
speak that. So I mean, if there are some people out there, which I understand there are others that language is more their thing than, where like some people it's art or whatever. But I, if I correct me if I'm wrong, but most people that live in most of your European countries speak three or four different languages fluently, correct? It depends. Okay.
It depend where you live. Yeah, yeah. Like example in France, if you're living more on the west side of France, you will speak French only. Okay. And if you're more on the east side, you more likely will speak French and
Oh,
German
okay.
and Italian, more the southwest. Because you
Mm-hmm.
gotta think about that. Like I'm living in Tennessee. Okay. So we go say Tennessee is France, right? And we go say
Right.
Arkansas, it's Italy. That's how close they are together. So if you're living in Memphis, which would be in France still, all right, and Italy is Arkansas, so
You
you
meet
will
a lot
speak
of
more
Italian
Italian
people that
too,
come
because
across. Yes.
you meet
Okay.
people that speak Italian. Exactly. Like my case, my name is Spanish because my dad is from France. I never left in Spain. I never
Okay.
live in Spain. My dad is from Spain. So when I go see my grandma in Spain, yeah, I was talking Spanish to them as much as I can.
Okay.
But I never live in Spain. Just my name is
Okay.
Spanish because I was born and raised in France, right? But that depends who are your parents and where you live, then you can speak different language. Now, it is another key that people need to understand. All the medical service, like doctor, nurse, they are pretty good in language. Why? Because they learn Latin language. The Latin
Right.
language is a dead language made by the Roman, Italian, all right? All the language, French, Spain, Portuguese, they are based to Latin language. So if you can learn the Latin language, it's easy for you to speak different language, which in France and Europe, at school, you learn the Latin language.
God,
That's
see,
what
I knew we
helps
would get
us
to
to
it,
speak
and I
different
because I
language.
have heard a lot of people that said that have either been to Europe or lived in Europe or whatever that a lot of the people over there do speak a lot of the same languages, but that makes sense with learning the Latin language. They're all based off of that same language, so yeah, it's
Mhm.
which I mean I do know that from taking Spanish and learning Spanish, and
Correct?
then you know having people that I've known that speak French, and then you kind of listen to it and you read the words. There is a lot of similarities in the languages. So yeah,
Yeah. Sam, say good day or have a good day, or buenos dias. That's in Spanish. Bonjour is in French. C'est bon, buenos dias. C'est bon dia. That's in Portuguese. So you see, it's
right,
similar. They change some,
right,
but you can
right.
just
I
make
get it. I
yourself
get it.
work
You
together.
know, so I mean, I guess to move forward on some more of this immigration here, I mean, one thing I know a lot of people are one of the things they're upset about is we're at they're talking about we're going to move like 600,000 drivers from the industry. 600,000 truckers are going to be removed potentially because of the non-domicile or the non-English speaking. And there's people that are upset about it, but there are also these same people that seem to me I hear them saying one thing, but I also hear them saying that the rates are too low. Well, if you look at the overcapacity right now, that 600,000 drivers is what's creating the overcapacity that has driven these rates down because of I think, what was it? I literally right here, 6 to 10% idle capacity, and that comes from the ACT research of 2025. I mean, I pulled a bunch of those sources last night and this morning before I got on here to be able to talk about that. So if you got 6 to 10%, and right now they say that it's total. So if you go off of BLS statistics, it's um, 3.5 million total active truck drivers, um, and then there's 2.24 million that have tractor trailer jobs. So if you do the math on that, you know, you remove those 600,000 that aren't supposed to be here because they don't speak English or they're not domicile. Um, that basically removes the overcapacity, and that's going to put the rates back up to where everybody's making money again. So, I mean, it's right there. It really is.
Right.
So, um, I mean, I don't know. What do you think they should be removed?
Absolutely. If they are here, not if they are not legal in here,
Right.
if they don't speak
So,
English,
do you
they should be removed right away. I'm not. I'm
right?
not have a
Do you
hard
so do
feeling
you
for that.
believe that?
I don't. I'm sorry.
Let
I
me
don't.
just ask this: What do you think they should be given a chance to learn English before they're removed? No.
No. No. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because they
Okay.
should
I
have
can
done
get
that
that.
before they come in here. No. Again, if you don't go by the process, let me think about me. Okay. Sorry.
Right.
I spend money for hire a lawyer. I make myself not working for 6 months. Why do I have to make all the sacrifice to be here legally? And we give a chance to those people that coming
Right.
illegally or don't speak English to coming in this country
Right.
and bypass all I did. It is not fair for me. It is not. I did all the background check and by the FBI, by everything. It is not fair for me to have somebody else who will say, okay, we'll give you a chance to learn English. No, I'm sorry. You can go back to your country, learn English, go back to the process. No, but this is what happened on the immigration statute. They say, if you go back to your country, we go pay for your flight, and you will have a chance to come back in US. If you don't, we will find you, we will remove you, and you will never come back in here. So that's my deal. It's not fair for me to have those people give a chance to learn English
Right.
or to get right. It should be done before that. That's my take. And people may agree or disagree with that, but
Well,
that's the law. That's the law. That's why it should be done. No, we don't have any law on land to say that people need to have a second chance to learn English. No, we don't. The law is here.
right. Right. Well, I just
You're
wanted
here
to
legal
ask that
or
just
not
to
legal.
maybe
Exactly.
clarify that up because I know that's one of the things that some people have brought up is that well we'll give them the opportunity to you know learn the English language in I don't know 3 to 6 months or something like that before that we move them on. If they don't learn it, they get moved out. If they do learn it, then they stay. So
S- s- See, my thing is that you have two. I got to back on that stuff because I got to be careful of what I'm saying. If you're here legally, okay, but you don't speak English, you should not be deported because you're
I
legally,
got
but
you.
you should
Okay.
not have a CDL.
Yep.
Now, you know what I mean? Those people, they are here legally. They are permanent residents or whatever. They don't speak English. I will say to them, you cannot drive a truck for 3 or 6 months. You suspend it for 3 or 6 months. In 3 or 6 months, you come back. I will give you a test on English proficiency. If you learn English proficiency, we will give you CDL back. That I will go for. If you come here in this country, you're legal, 100% legal. The only thing you want to drive a truck, you need to learn English. Now, if you don't want to work English, you can work anywhere
Right.
else when the English is not required. But we will not remove you to this country because you don't speak English. It's different in here. You're legal, you don't speak English, you don't drive a truck. Come back in 3 months. We do a test. If you speak English, if you can read the sign,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
Et le
and
problème, c'est que tu peux pas te
I
marier.
could get behind that for sure. The 3 to 6 months if you're here legally. Now, if you're not here legally, yeah, then no, yeah, no, I can't see that.
Non,
I mean, but see, this is one of those hot topics, man.
non.
That's going on right now in the industry, and there's a lot of mixed feelings in it. But I think I think part of our issue is though is that people don't they're thinking about it emotionally more than they're thinking about it logically instead of like holding a conversation kind of like you and I are right now and finding out, obviously the aspect of somebody who is an immigrant, here with legal permanent residency, you know, how does, how, what are there, cause you've went through it, you've lived it. So, what it's like to come over here and, have
Yep.
to learn the English language. Cause I'm assuming you didn't speak English before you came here. So you probably had what, mainly French and
Nope,
just a wee
nothing.
little bit of Spanish, it sounds like.
Nothing.
And some. Oh, okay.
And
I
some
got you.
Italian
I
too, and
got you.
some
Well,
German.
you were saying Western
Yeah.
France, so I wasn't sure where you were at there. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember I was driving a lot in Europe. I drive semi everywhere in Europe and above. I drive in Russia, I drive in Greece, I drive in Czechoslovakia, I drive in England. We drive on the left side with a semi. Uh, I drive all those countries. And and again, that's even me, but that's how we are in Europe. If you go to a country, you force yourself to learn the basic language. So how to sleep, where is the truck stop, where to put the fuel, talk to the shipper. So you need to learn your basic language. In Europe, people won't
So in
give
the
you a phone
European
translate
countries, they don't put up with
what you
this
say
not knowing the
French to
language.
Russian.
You have to, if you go into Germany, you better be speaking
No,
German. If you go to
no, no,
Russia, you
no.
better speak Russian.
Yeah,
So, okay.
you, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it sounds
They
like it.
make it easy on you
Yeah,
big
it
time,
sounds
big time.
well. But see that
No,
it's
not.
good to know because
Oh
you
yeah.
have a lot of people that talk. I hear a lot of people on different sides of the aisle, and they want to bring up those things. As far as well, going to another country. Well, it sounds to me like if you go over to Europe, which has a bunch of countries connected, kind of like the United States has all of our states connected together, that you, if you're France or French like you, and then you're going to go driving Portuguese, or you're taking a load to Spain, or you're taking a load to Germany or Italy or wherever. You have to learn. You better know how to speak the language. So
You better you have.
yeah, well, so and that's what's
Oh
funny
yeah, it's
when
gonna be hard on you.
I hear this and I learn these things. Because I'm learning a lot right now from you about the European culture as far as like the truck driving side over there and stuff in this conversation. If you're going to, if you're going to sit there and say, well, we need to have a more worldly view, well, go to the outside of the world here because I'm talking with a gentleman right now that has that worldly view from driving in all of these countries in the trucking industry, and they already do what it is that we're saying we need to have done.
For a long time.
And
You better know what you're doing over there, because you won't move from France. You won't go anywhere. There's
so
no way.
looking at that
You have
and
to.
going
You have to.
back from that, what I look at here is you said you've been here for 25 years here now, right? Over 25 years. So
Yeah,
what is
over
that?
there.
That's
Yeah.
going back.
Hmm.
You were in the early 90s. You were driving over in Europe. So basically, for it,
Yep. Hmm.
and I'm going to say,
Yep.
I'm going to jump out here on a limb and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming that law over there in Europe has been there well before the 90s. I mean,
Yeah, but we don't have the law, um, like to learn. Like if you go to Italy, we don't have the
okay.
law because you're French to go to speak Italian. Okay, it's not a law, all right? Because it used to be a law, but when the Europe get
Oh, yeah, the
together,
European
because now
Union.
it's a
Yeah,
European
okay.
country,
Okay.
so they open all the port. Exactly, it's different. It's people. That's one thing. People need to understand. Europe
Okay.
is like the 50 states of the United States, right? So they have all their entirety. So French is French, but we are all based in Europe, like United States. You have some states that they have
Okay.
their own law, but you have the
Okay.
United States. It's the same as Europe. Okay, same crap. Before it used to be like that. Now they are not have a law that you must speak Italian to go to Italy. No, you don't. But it will make so much easier on you. You better to have some notion in Italian.
So it's
If you not,
basically more of a
you will be
respect thing and being
screwed.
considerate of your fellow man or woman
Yes,
going into their country,
yes,
which is one thing
absolutely.
that we severely lack over here in
Yeah,
the United States is consideration for others. I mean, we really do. If you,
oh
I
yeah,
mean, like you talked about, and
yeah.
Matt and I's talked about previous and stuff like that. That we the buffalo bags in the parking lots and the pee bottles in the parking lots. That is a huge disrespect and lack of consideration for others. Not only just the people that own the property, whether it be one of the mega truck stops like the TA Petro, Loves, Pilot, we all know, or the mom and pop locations that's just owned by a husband and wife or something along those lines. But it's also the truck drivers themselves. When we back in and we go to do a post trip on our truck, do you want to potentially be stepping in all that nonsense? No. You know what I mean? Or, where guys and gals I
Oh
see
yeah.
have swept out their trucks. They sweep out the back of the truck and all the nails and the screws and the pallet wood and everything's just laying in the parking lot. Well,
But we talk about again a culture. This is what's so big. Another
mm-hmm.
example. Okay, my two boys, they are diesel mechanic. Lot of truck, especially coming from some country,
Yes.
they have a hole in the cab. The drivers take a number two in the cab and the hole. My son, when they go there and they see the shaft full of number two, they ain't walk that truck in here. It is nasty. What in the hell people will do that? And it's again the respect, you know what I mean? We lack of the respect for each other. And people think so that we need to adapt ourselves to their culture. No, I'm sorry. You're coming here, you go take a number two, you
Yes,
go
I
to a truck
know.
store. You have no excuse at all. No excuse. I'm sorry. We have we have so many truck stops in almost every exit. You can go take a number two. You know what I mean? You have no excuse at all. I'm sorry. I never did take a dump on my
Right, right.
on the parking
I
lot.
know.
No,
It's
you don't have
terrible.
any
I
excuse.
mean, it really is. Uh, my father in law, he's been a diesel mechanic for 40 years and he's talked about it. He worked for a company not too far from where we live here in
Mm-hmm.
Ohio. They're just outside of Dayton area. And, he's had those trucks come in and they would want to lease on to him. And they would have that hole in the floor. And that, he crawl underneath there and see that. Nope. I'm not even giving it an inspection. Get him out of here. But,
No,
you know,
yep,
it,
that's what they
I
do too.
that's that lack of consideration. But the thing of it is, I almost wonder if it's people coming from other countries outside of Russia or the European Union. Because I mean, I have to, I gotta ask,
I
do
believe,
you
yeah.
would you see that over in the European countries? That hole in the floor?
We, we have the same problem
Okay,
with people coming from like Africa country or way on the far east side. We have it more
right.
in, I don't want to offend anybody, okay? But like some country like Morocco, Senegal, Congo, uh, they have this big issue because
That's how
again,
they call. That's what
that's what
their
they do over
culture is
there.
accepting of.
They don't give two crap.
So they have to.
They
They
don't have a truck stop over there.
okay. I got
They
you.
drive a truck, they stop somewhere. So they don't have any bathroom. So what they do, they have a jug of water in
I
here,
got you.
and they do what they have to do to clean themselves, right? And again, you go
Well,
to a country,
yeah.
help
There
yourself,
there is that.
talk to people. No, if
Yeah,
if you
come
cannot afford a
talk to me.
shower and you
Yes,
see me in
come
a truck
talk to
stop,
me. Yes, come
talk to
talk
me.
to me. Yes, we had
I'm
another
gonna give you
member
a
in our
shower.
group yesterday that was talking about that lack of personal hygiene that was going on,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
that is one thing that I have
Yeah.
never understood. Um, that lack of cleanliness out here on the road. Um, it's just I do not get it. I do not understand it. And I know I'm not meant to probably understand everything in this world, but you are if you were on your fifth day without taking a shower, that's
Yeah, I got a
there's an
problem on
issue
that.
there. One I almost look at is a mental health issue at that
Yeah.
point. Because now you're not taking care of yourself, and when you're not taking care of yourself, that usually can be a sign. I'm not saying all the time, but it can be a sign of poor mental health. I understand there are cultural differences, but I don't
Yeah.
think that they're that different in my opinion. I just don't. I think if you went out to the fourth or fifth day,
No.
don't you can't tell me that you've driven 5 days without getting fuel somewhere. You can't tell me that. You know what I mean? Like if you
Yeah.
drove,
Almost every day.
we'll just
Yeah.
say if you do the average right now, which is the average load in America, I think goes just a little over 500 miles. If you did that 5 times, you just drove 2,500 miles. I would love to see the truck that's driving 2,500
Yeah.
miles and not fueling up. I have to see this thing. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like
I want to buy that
that's
truck.
a 2,500 miles out of a truck that you're not stopping to get fuel. Like, I mean, that's pretty spectacular. I mean,
If anybody know
yes,
a truck that can drive 2,500 miles without stop
yes,
for the
yeah.
fuel,
Reach out
please
to we the
contact me,
FOPT
message
here,
me.
folks.
Right?
I will get you in touch with Ricky Bobby here,
Oh,
and he will be coming with a
you know,
checkbook. It sounds like so. If
gosh, man.
But that's what I mean. Like, how can you stop probably at least 2 to 3 times to get fuel? I mean, and if this is one thing I'm gonna look. I'm gonna put this out
Well,
there. When I first start a month of getting fuel, okay, I play the game. I stop every day and I put 75 gallons in my tank. That automatically starts bumping me up in the points. Okay. And you're getting a shower offered to you every
yeah.
single day. You get 75 gallons to get you a shower credit and can move you up into points. So, yeah, yeah,
And
here.
you got
Everybody
different
say
thing
hi to
too.
Brianna.
Who is
Everybody
behind
say
me?
hi to
Behind me?
Brianna.
Who?
See my drink?
So, no, I didn't.
You had a mouse
Hey, Brianna.
Oh,
back there.
great. I didn't need that on the podcast, but anyways, yeah.
Now you do.
Yeah, okay. So apparently
All
we had
right.
a
That's okay.
yeah. Well, I live in the country and
That's
it's
all
that
right.
time of year,
She want to
folks.
take a shower
We
too.
catch them all the time. So, anyways,
Yeah. But I'm saying you have if you are an operator or even a liaison on operator, okay, you have some fuel card that you can use that will
hmm
give you 2 shower for free every day if you use that card one time in a month. Just use that card. I won't give any name because I gotta talk to Cupcake about that. But you have so many fuel cards. I know my fuel card at the Loves. Every single day
right.
I got 2 free shower every day. Without use or not use. I got my free cup of coffee. I can have 10 cup of coffee for
Well,
free
my thing
a
is this.
day
I can tell you right
or
now, I
20
have
or
literally
cold drink.
walked in before, and I didn't have any showers left. I was having a bad week. I'm not even gonna lie. I was having a really bad week. And everybody knows me, knows I run hopper bottom. So you can get dirty pretty quick running hopper bottom, trying to get one unloaded. And I had a load of DDGs on.
Oh yeah.
And I had, it just worked out this way. I had to work on the truck. So I work on the truck and I went inside and I took a shower to work on the truck because I'm covered in grease and oil and clutch dust. And you know how it is. If any of y'all have worked on a truck, it's almost nearly impossible to not get dirty. So got the truck back up and running, used my shower credit that I had from
Oh yeah.
that day. I only had the one shower credit, whatever. Going through, I go to unload the load. Now, mind you, when this happened, I only had to drive 100 miles more to get unloaded. I'm unloading DDGs. Now, if anybody that's listening to this is in the hopper industry, we all know how much of a pain in the butt DDGs can be to unload. Well, it took me and 3 other guys in Roaring River, North Carolina. And if you 3 fellers are listening, thank you once again from the bottom of my heart that day. I was having a day that day because it took 4 of us 2 hours to unload just one compartment. It packed in like concrete. I had one guy that was running the vibrator, another guy, and then 2 other guys on each side beating it with hammers, and I was laying underneath it with a scraper. And so as it's coming out and I'm doing this dust is just covering me. I come out of there, I looked like I was covered in gold dust. Not even gonna lie. Well, by the time the 4 hours was over, I had DDGs in places that only God should ever see. Is just how I'm gonna put it. Well, I wanted a shower. I went to the closest truck stop to get a shower. I didn't have a credit. And I walked in there and I looked at the lady, and I mean, I tried to blow myself off, but my eyebrows had the dust in them. My beard still had all the dust. You could still see the little bits in my scalp and stuff like this, And I walked in and she could tell that I looked like I'd been run over by a Mack truck because I was just wore out. I had sweated to death. You could see it in some of the creases and stuff, And I was like, honey, I need a shower. And she was like, well, you got any shower credits? You got your card. And I'm like, no, I don't. And she was like, you know what? You look like you've had a bad day. She gave me a shower. Now, I was fully ready to pay for it. And I said, no, I can pay for it. She says, no, honey, it's okay. To give you one shower is not going to break the bank. I'm not saying they're going to do this for everybody that's out there. But, come on. There's no reason you can't get a shower. There's absolutely no reason you can't. At least every other day. Now, because I know some, the reefer crew that's out there and the dry van crew. I mean, to be honest, you get on some of those loads, you're not really getting dirty. You back in, they load you up, you pull out, close some doors, put a seal on it, and down the road you go. So I mean, all you're doing is sitting in the seat.
Right. Most of the time. But you know how.
Well, I'm talking about like the more like the reefer and the full load, not the LTL that I know how you love to do because you like to make that big money on that LTL stuff. So,
yeah. You got to, again, guys. That's another thing. Stop to a kind of topic. If you go pick up a load to go to Florida or Colorado, but the love of God, make yourself work on partial load to get out. Don't put a freight so heavy that pay you 90 cents a mile or 1 cent a mile. That don't make sense. Just take a partial load.
Well, no, I mean, we've been talking for 40 minutes about immigration and the cultural differences. I mean, we can move on to, if you want to change topic over and move on to, profitability of the truck, feel free. I mean, this is kind of your first time on here, so I'm going to let you rock and roll what you want to talk about, sir.
Well, I know I don't want to be bugging everybody about every topic. I like to stay on one topic and be focused so we can have that one. But it's just like kind of side way, you know what I mean? Well, just gotta be I don't say that you stupid, be smart, but think. You got a 53.
Right.
You got a 53 foot. Use it. Stop looking at full load if you don't pay.
Right.
Just get partial load. Get out of Florida. Get out of Denver. Because what's going to happen? The more people are doing that, the more they increase the price on a full load. And that's how the markets do it. Now, go ahead, guys, enjoy. And another topic very fast, okay? Because that was something I was thinking yesterday. I watched some video and people complain about the broker. Oh, the brokers steal me 50% of the load. Okay, let me tell you something. When you pick up the phone call, if you pick up a load of 1/10 miles, don't go on TikTok say the broker stole your money. You agree to pick up that load. You get a team better in here. The broker, crooked or not crooked, they're here to make money. And they find somebody that could pull the load for $1 a mile and they go keep 50%, 60% of the load,
Yes.
hell, of course they will do it because they're making money. Just like us, if somebody call you and say, "Hey, I got a load for you
Yeah.
for $6 or $7 a mile," what are you going to do? You will call him? No, no, no. That's too much. No, I gotta do
I,
350. No,
that
you
seems to be
won't.
a
You
hot
will
topic on
take
our
that stuff.
TikTok right now. I've been seeing a lot of the comments come through because of the broker side of it, and that part of that video with the broker and stuff. And they're all saying, "Oh, the brokers got to be gone. We got to get rid of brokers, or brokers are stealing 50% of the freight." No, they're not. You are agreeing to it. They said, "Well, if you," I've heard one of them. I think one of them said, "Well, if you don't take the
They might.
load, then the what am I supposed to do for freight? Go somewhere else and pick up another load, dude." I mean, either that or this. If you if you go through,
Get
and we'll just say,
open your
we'll
search.
say you've ran your numbers, okay, and you know your full operating cost, and to operate your truck and to pay your personal bills at home, take care of mama and the kids and everything that you got going on over there. We'll say that's $250 a mile. That's what you need. And then we're in business to be profitable, which means that the business is, after it pays the owner for their personal expenses and pays all the business expenses, that it has money left over in the kitty. In the bank account, there's money left over. If you know your operating cost is 250 and you take a load for 230, it's your own fault. You're the one that signed the contract. You're the one that gave your word that you would move that load from point A to point B for set amount.
Yep.
And apparently, what they don't understand is if you want the rates to go up, you need that rejection rate to go up as well. Because eventually, the broker, if they can't get the load moved,
Exactly.
then they have to go back to the shipper or manufacturer and say, "Hey, I'm sorry, you want me to move this load for 225? I can't get nobody to bite." Now, I will say this, and I've heard this out of some of the issue that the brokers, and I'm not saying all brokers are doing this, so don't come for me on that nonsense, but some brokers are not bidding freight correctly because they're not taking into account, or they are and they just don't care. And this is part of that bad broker situation. If they're not bidding the lanes correctly. The average cost right now to run a truck down the road is $275 a mile. That's the average cost to run a truck down the road. Now, that means if you're going to be profitable, you need to be at $3 a mile. And I talked about this years ago on a couple of TikTok videos I did, that if it's $275 a mile, you need to be at $3 a mile. You know what I mean? For to be profitable here. Well, they're not taking into account. They look at it and they go, "Well, I know I can get a truck to move it for $3. And it's so that they can make 25 cents a mile themselves. They're not bidding the load to the shipper or manufacturer for the $3.25. Because the thing of it is this: a lot of the shippers and manufacturers, they have people that are monitoring what these costs are. And so they know, the way they look at it is the broker needs to cut their throat. The broker's not going to cut my throat. The broker needs to cut their throat. Well, the broker's not going to do that either. So what happens? It's a trickle down effect. Well, now we'll make the trucker do it. Well, and then this is where you see the truckers get upset about it. So this is where we need responsibility and accountability on the broker side to make sure that they're bidding the lanes correctly. Because it's like I just had one the other day that wanted me to go into the middle of Florida with nothing around for 300 miles to reload, and wanted me to go in there for $278 a mile. And that's $278 a loaded mile.
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I literally, I sent her back all kinds of laughing faces and was like, "You got to be out of your mind." But then they're also upset on the forum board and on the load board that I'm in on the bulk side of it here. They were all upset here a few months ago about how people were telling them that they don't know how to bid freight. Well, you obviously don't if you're wanting a load to go into Florida for $278 a loaded mile. Now you want somebody to bounce back out 300-400 miles to pick a load up for free? When everybody knows nothing's coming. The only thing that comes out of Florida is produce. Yeah. That's it. So reefer loads coming out and garbage. Reefer loads and garbage. That's it. Yep. So I've hauled glass out of there, crushed glass on my hopper. I've hauled that out of there. But to do it, I told the broker straight up, "Bro, you have severely limited my reload capabilities after this load. So you're going to compensate me accordingly to take this load. Well, what do you mean? Let me explain this to
Yeah.
you, bud. Got crushed glass. I got to go through and I got to wash out, and there's only
We can
certain
know.
things that they're going to load after that. And for me to get some of those loads, I've got to go way, way
Yep.
north, to get that load. So, and I did the closest thing, and I've got a lot of direct contacts. I had to drive 700 miles empty to get a load that would go on after that glass, and then still had to wash out
Yep.
after that one again. And then, so yeah, it's a trickle down effect. So, but that's one of those things. It's education, no
Yeah.
different than like this
Yeah.
podcast here has been extremely educational for me.
Sure.
I love learning new stuff, and learning from you about the immigration side and learning about
Well,
the European side of it and the driving over there. You know, that gives me, great intellect on being able to and opening my eyes on being able to, converse with some of these other people that I'm talking with on the social media and stuff, or that I see at truck stops and stuff when I talk to them, and I hear them say that stuff, and I'm going to go, well, go drive in Europe because you got a friend of mine.
Yep. Well, it won't be as easy too because in Europe to drive a truck,
So their training
it will
side's
take
a
about
whole lot of
1
difference
year.
over there.
It won't take about 2 days. Oh, oh my gosh! It is. So you got to understand. In Europe, in here, you have 2 steps.
Of just school.
It's 6 months of school. Okay, then you can drive only.
It's not
No,
like the 5 week
the
courses
school
that
is
you
more
have
like
here. I
the school
got you.
here. When you go, no, 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 no. When you get from your 6 months of school, you know how to fix your engine. You know how to change a tire. You know every aspect of your truck.
So it's
Not just drive a truck, but everything else. You understand the fuel system, the
so it's
everything.
just
Why?
like what we
Because
were
again,
talking about
it's
on
a
the one
skill
podcast,
job
and
in
like I've
Europe.
talked about in a
It's
lot
a
of the other
skill
things that I'd like
job.
to see happen in this industry of changing it around and moving it over to a, you know, an almost a 2 year program of an apprenticeship for 6 months and so on and so forth. Okay, go on. I'm loving this.
Well, it don't have to be. It,
Okay,
I would say it don't have to be 2 years. I would say 2 years maybe too much, because you don't want to be the driver to be a diesel
okay,
mechanic because you got affect the diesel mechanic guy. All right, but six
okay,
months, so you learn your truck from A to Z. You learn how the transmission working. You you learn everything,
okay,
the fuel system, the air system, everything. After 6 months, you can drive in some
okay,
mileage in
okay.
Europe, in limited mileage in France, okay? Limited mileage. Then you go back again to school after 6 months for about 2 weeks with a trainer that will drive with you
Oh,
in another country in Europe, like Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany. You will drive. So you have a long haul. You drive with them. So after that, you're good. But those 6 months, the first 6 months, is great because you learn how to change a tire. People in France, we don't call TA or love to change a tire. We don't. We all have a spare tire. When you get a flat, you get out, you put your jacks, you jack your truck, and you got a big bar, and you change
so
your
how do you do
tire
do you run
because you know
duals
how to
over
do
there,
it.
or do you just run super singles? So you guys keep an impact on the
Yes.
truck?
No, you yeah. No, no impact.
So what do
We
you
got a
peel the outside
big
tire
bugger
off
bar.
and then peel the inside over the outside and then put them all back on there?
Uh-huh. You got a
Okay,
big bugger bar,
okay,
man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
right.
And also, some truck driver in Europe, they will stop to help you
I
out.
got you.
You will never be by yourself, okay? So they will help you out. But you got a big breaker bar. Yeah, and you do yourself. Like, you learn about the air system on your truck. You know about the fuel system, like I say again. You know how really the brakes are working. So they used to teach you and open the engine and show you what is inside of the engine, what can be the cause of the problem, how you change the filter and stuff like that. So you have a very, and again, because it's a skill job. It's so important. It's a skill job. You learn how to drive a truck. It's not just a license. You learn it. And in Europe, in the US and
Oh
here,
yeah,
we don't learn it, we give it away.
yeah,
We just answer 40 questions, we give it away. You don't have to know anything about your engine of your truck.
yeah,
You don't know nothing. You just
yeah,
drive a truck. That's it. And that's what needs to be changed. Skill job. As soon you change the profession as a skill job, then the school have to be accredited, and you have to learn how to drive and maintain your truck. Because I'm asking you something, Cupcake. If you're a new guy, okay, never have a license, you go to your school, are they going to teach you how to raise your truck?
Well,
Are they
see,
going
that's
to
the
teach
thing.
you how to
I
adjust your
was
truck?
trying to put myself back 30 years ago here when I was a cherry and learning how to drive a truck, and I didn't go to school. But that was back when you didn't have to go to school. But the company that I
Yeah.
worked for, which I can very much say thank you to them, um, and the fact that they helped me get my CDL, and the knowledge that they gave me because of I was not exactly considered a truck driver. I was more considered an operator. So we would operate vac trucks. We would operate water blasters. We would go into big power companies and stuff and clean out the boilers and things of that nature. Um, so with all of that being said, there was a lot of greasing that had to go on. There was a lot of different. You weren't just checking the engine oil. You were checking the oil on the blower to make sure that there was, when you looked in that sight glass before you fired it up, if that sucker wasn't even with that little circle in the middle, you better be pulling the
Uh-huh.
cap off the top. And we had side boxes of the truck that had all those different, we had jugs in there that had the different weights of oil because you couldn't use the same motor oil
Yep.
in there in that blower, to lubricate it. It took a different kind of oil. So you had to pay attention. You had to know that. There was belts, there was secondary filters and stuff. You know, um, same way with the water blasters. You had to be able to, check out all those filters. You had a totally different engine mounted on the back of a flatbed trailer. You know, that totally different than what you were dealing with over here. And had to operate that. So, yeah, I do know this from people that I've talked to though in the
Yep.
schools, in that apparently now it used to be 96 points that had to be paid attention to when you did your pre-trip inspection. Apparently now they've reduced it to 22. I don't
Yep.
know what 20 what
Yeah,
happened.
bullshit.
Where are
I'm
these
sorry.
other 60
It's
some
popular.
um these other 60, what is it, 66? Yeah, 96, 22, whatever that is. I don't even know. 74. So other 74 points. These other
Yeah,
74
that's
items,
good.
why are they no longer needed to be checked? I mean, what did we remove? Did we remove the serpentine belts? Or do you not need to check the seals and any oil leaks? Are they not having to check for a brake adjustment? Do they not need to pay attention to the tie rod ends? I mean, are we the nuts, bolts, and stuff? Are we loose? Or is there any cracking? Do you see any trail marks coming down like it's a rust mark or something? What is it? You don't need to look for leaks on that. I mean, we've only just barely uncovered the engine compartment here, and I think I've almost covered 22 points there.
Wow.
Well, that's what I was about to say. We
So
hop into
maybe
cab
the
here.
light
You
in your
turn your lights
windshield
on.
and stuff like that.
You check your windshield. You check your wipers. You check your defrost.
Yep.
Now we check our triangles, check our
The triangle,
extinguisher. Now we also got to check for audible and visual noise for low air pressure. I mean, um, we haven't even really gotten to the
yeah, that's
tires
it.
yet.
Yeah.
Hey, have we checked tread depth? Have we? Is there any?
Nope.
Exactly. Like, and now we still got to get back
Windshield,
to the drives.
leak,
You got a
nothing.
whole drive shaft. You got transmission to click. You got all those, brakes back there, whether you're running drum or disc, you still are. I mean, how did we remove 74 items and we expect these?
Yes.
This just doesn't work for me. If that's the case, if it truly is, and somebody's not feeding me a line of goods, that we've dropped from 96 to 22 items on a pre-trip test, what are we doing? Why are we even calling this safety out here? I mean, if we're getting pulled over for inspections for safety, and
What is
you've
that?
literally dropped it from 96 to 22 items, how the hell is that? How you going to pass an inspection?
You better pass all your
Because the
inspections.
last time I checked, every time that I've been involved with one of those, inspections where they go through every crook and cranny of your truck, I don't think it's 96, to be honest. I think it's a higher number than that they look at, to be honest. So what are we doing? Are we setting up these newer drivers for failure?
More likely. But again, if you have a skill, if we are recognized by the skill job by the labor department, I believe things will improve from A to Z. I'm talking about the training. I'm talking about the freight rate, because you learn more about what it costs to operate your truck. So that is the beginning, I guess. It's like a pyramid, And if the base, the foundation is right, then you're good. So if you have a skill job in the beginning, then you can build everything on the top to be on the top of the pyramid and be the best as you can. And that's for company driver, for owner operator, for everybody. The basic thing, and that's my belief, is to be recognized as a
to talk about skilled job. I've been doing a little research here on that. Getting ready, I was thinking about writing another article for our website, and I put together this here the other day. Where's it at here? Everybody, come on, no, come say hi. No, come say hi. No,
that's
come
all
here.
right. Say hi.
Come on, say hi. Apparently everybody wants to be on the podcast today. I mean, Lord, jeez. That's what it is. It's that I'm telling you, I don't.
It's because of me.
Frenchman.
It's because of
everybody round up. So
that's it.
Oh Lord, here we go. So where was it at here? There's only, as far as a skilled trade, what is it? It's the immigration and Social Security disability decisions. That's the only thing that the government looks at skilled trade. Immigration has 3, and it's basically going to be you have skilled, other worker, or professionals, and that's under that EB3 category when you're coming in for immigration. And as far as the Social Security disability, it's either unskilled, semi-skilled, or skilled, and that's basically on their decisions on how much money for disability you're going to get based upon what you had. It's all about the money, or it has to do with adjudication. So, but the Department of Labor doesn't actually classify anything as skilled or unskilled. Well, that's where you're going to have to get, the Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division. Well, not necessarily Wage and Hour, because the Wage and Hour Division is over Wage and Hour kind of moved some of the responsibility. I learned this as well here. Wage and Hour removed the responsibility for the exemptions over to the Secretary of Transportation. So the Secretary of Transportation, when it comes to, how did they word that? I've got that in this here where I've been writing this. Where's it at here? Safety hours. So there's a division of power on the safety hours that reverts back to the Secretary of Transportation. And this happens because, so the FLSA, Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, is where the exemptions were written in for overtime and stuff. Okay. But you go back 3 years when they wrote the Motor Carrier Act of 1935, and that's where they sent the oversight power to the Secretary of Transportation. So the Secretary of Transportation has to go through. Well, and this is where there's a lot of working parts with this. You currently have, I think it's Senate Bill 893. Here, let me just double check. I think that's the number correct. It's Senate Bill 893. I've got to go into that other folder here. Hold on a minute here.
But for all the listeners, I will say that I guarantee you, we will look at that issue and we'll do the best as we can to
yeah, it's Senate Bill 893 is the Guaranteeing
it's a big issue.
Overtime for Truckers Act. And so basically what that's going to do is that's going to be written in by Congress. So now this is where this is going to become it's not going to be a federal regulation. It's going to be a code. This is where they're actually going to codify truckers in the fact
Yeah.
that the overtime is no longer an exemption, and that we're not exempt from overtime regulations. See, that's where the difference comes in. Is you have the USC and then you have the CFR. So you have the United States Code and then you have the Code of Federal Regulations. So there's a little difference in there in how it's written, and
Yeah.
what goes on with that. But that 893 is going to is what's in there currently in Congress to guarantee overtime. And see, so this overtime that they're trying to, with this overtime exemption removal, that's going to basically screw up some other groups where they want to put a $1 a mile a minimum for company drivers and the $5 a mile minimum for carriers.
Hmm.
If they bring in that S93 and that gets voted in, that basically just implodes that $1 a mile minimum for company drivers. Because if you do that, this overtime exemption, it's
Well,
basically going to
that's
do time and a half. So whether you're hourly, percentage, or cent per mile, if you're 40 cents a mile, you're going to go to 60 cents a mile after 40 hours. If you're at 22%, you're going to go to 33%. If you're making $20 an hour, you're going to go to $30 an hour after 40 hours. So this is where if you take that $1 a mile minimum, put it in, you literally are
but
going to put
that's
somebody from $1 a mile to $1.50 a mile, and that's going to bankrupt every carrier.
well, that's the deal. The, the skill job or condition should be good for the like company driver, but it won't be in
No.
effect for any kind of business owner operator. I'm talking about
Right.
people have their own
Right.
MC, their own DOT, not the liaison. Okay, because it's your
Yes.
own business, you afford to pay you whatever the heck you want to pay you. All right. So, but I believe that well, if they have to pay time and a half for overtime, then they may have to lower the wage if they know they have a time and a half overtime. But I believe the skill job need to be in effect to fix the industry, to fix
Well, I
the
think
training, to
well,
fix
basically what I think
the
needs to happen
knowledge.
with this is I think they need to move forward to create maybe that skilled job that we want to have, that quote unquote skilled job classification. I think this is where when we talk about like the training side of it, I think we need to move that training over. And I've already had the mindset of what you talked about over in Europe and how you do the 6 months with like the apprenticeship side, and then you're moved on from there. I think that
Yeah.
needs to happen. But I think what I think needs to happen more than anything is I think these states or the federal government, if you will, if any monies are going to be given to these schools. So I know here in the state of Ohio for the longest time, there was schools that were what was it called? Getting the Workforce Investment Act. They were getting that money to train the drivers. Okay. So when they were getting that money to come in, this is where I think, we already know that the government goes through and like they forced the change from the point one to the point oh 0.08 for the BAC. And the way they force this change, and I only say force because they say, if you don't do this, if the states don't do this, we're no longer giving you federal funding. And I think this is where they need to do that is if you're going to be given any money to any of these schools must meet these qualifications to receive said funding. If you're going to get any kind of Pell Grant, OIG grant, where we have the Ohio one, which is called the OIG. If you're going to get any kind of student loans, whether it be for the federal government or the state governments, this is where for those funds to be released, these schools must meet these qualifications. And then the qualifications that you and I talk about there, they just put those
Which,
qualifications right in there and say this is what must happen. You know, this man or woman must go through 6 months of training and she must learn all of these aspects that you just talked about. Like
yeah,
they need to be, there needs to be an engine on a stand over there and they need to be able to go, this is the crankcase breather. This is a fuel filter. This right here is the rocker box cover.
yeah.
Here is the radiator. This is the fan clutch. You know, um, exactly.
This is where the
Exactly.
fuel line is coming up. So if that's any leak, I know where it's coming from. But and again, See, uh, that will fix one sense the immigration statute. Because if you go to that school, you have first of all to
Yes.
show that you
Yes.
can speak English and read English. And if you can't, you cannot
Right.
have a learning permit. You out right away. So that will fix that issue too. So I'm saying this, the skill job will fix almost everything
Right.
by
Right.
himself, all the issue we have in the trucking industry. You know what
Well,
I mean?
see, up until the memo that was given by
And
Obama in
a very good thing.
2016,
Now,
that English speaking side was there. And see, this is where, like, there's been some people that have
was
said,
there?
because I
Yeah,
say
was
I
there?
blame part of it on Trump. And the reason why is because, yes, Obama, he put the memo out there. It was right at the end. It was in December of 2016. It was right before he was leaving his office. Trump came in. This was known in 2016 that this went through. It went through all through the news that this removal had happened. If
Yeah.
Trump cared so much, why didn't he back in 2017 when he came in office? Why didn't he do anything about it then? I
For
don't
lack
know
of
if I can say
information,
that.
ATA.
Well, see, I don't know if I can say this on the ATA
ATA was
side. I
give.
don't know if I can say that.
Oh, well, I'm telling you something. Who was at that time President Trump was behind all those trucks were UPS, and it was ATA was right there. The ATA was pushing
Well,
for the
okay,
low wage
okay, yeah,
labor.
yeah,
So it
you're
was
right.
all the interest to do so. So now what's going on, and right now we have a light bulb. We see so many wreck with some illegal immigrants coming up in here, and that's what show up and say, oh, what the heck is going on in here? No, we've been lying for us for all these years. Even the ATA backtrack and say we are not short driver,
Driver,
we are
yeah,
short
yeah.
of skilled driver. Which don't make sense again. Again, make the
Well,
truck driver a skilled job and you have
there
this
is a
problem
lot to be
anymore.
said for that. The
That's
thing of it
easy
is I
fix.
don't think any, if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe the
Yeah,
Department of Labor though classifies any position as a skilled trade. Even though we will look at an electrician or we will look at a plumber or we will look at a carpenter or a pipe fitter or any of those are considered skilled trades. But I don't know if the Department of Labor actually does classify that.
yeah,
I mean, I guess we can look it up and see if what is classified as a skilled trade. But if I'm not
they don't,
mistaken, when I was reading that,
no,
yeah,
they don't. Yes, they don't because you can be a plumber, you can be like an AC maintenance guy, but to work on the AC system, you have to have a
yes.
CPA certification. So you will have to have school for that. But still, you still is controlled.
So I'm looking
That's all you.
here. It is examples of skilled trades would be construction. Well, I'm wanting to see the actual Department of Labor and what they classify a highly skilled trade. And I'm trying to remember. Try to figure it. Here we go. Here we go.
That's what guys got.
Verify apprenticeship. Oh, there. Here it is. Here it is. He's always so. Oh, it's under. Yeah. I wish I'd have had this ahead of time. A career seeker. There we go. Here we go.
That's all
Find
right.
an apprenticeship. That's what I need. Let's just do.
And after that, you're done with that stuff. I would like to say something very fast about the health
Right.
of the
So you
driver.
have
Some
right here
news coming
trending
up that
listings.
will
This
help
is just
a
trending
lot of truck
listings.
driver.
Pharmacy
After that.
technicians, plumbers, pipe fitters, and steam fitters, automotive service technicians and mechanics, maintenance and repair workers. There's, in transportation, if you look under popular industries here, which I mean, I can put it up right here. This is what I'm looking at under the Department of Labor right here. Diesel mechanic, airframe mechanic,
Yeah,
and power plant, avionics technician. But they have truck driver right there on their thing, truck driver for popular apprenticeship programs under industries.
So
So I don't
what
understand
what
if
do we
they're going to
miss?
list that under
What needs to
that,
be done?
but at the same time, they will say that we don't actually classify truck driving as a skilled trade. So,
Something is up.
well, this is what
Something
is
is up.
this? What is this?
Look at it.
Apprenticeship.gov, which is through the Department of Labor. So, looking for skilled apprenticeship
Okay.
things. So,
They cannot, in one hand, put the truck driver on the listing
yeah,
and
I don't
don't do
understand it.
anything about that. So, something is up.
It's Get TID International Foundation International FedEx. So apparently these must be ones that are doing apprenticeships because this is through like FedEx Freight, Feral Gas, West Virginia Supply. Yeah, they're registered partners. Most likely is that I
So
would
they got
say so.
kickback, I'm sure.
GEFTID International Foundation in California. They're a big one here. There's a bunch of them. WM Intellectual Property Holdings. That's a CDL driver, apprentice, PTO, benefits day one, home, weekends, walk in, Wednesday interview. That's in Pennsylvania, Ambridge, Pennsylvania. So, Oregon Employment Department in Oregon. More FedEx. Well,
So yeah, it's about
that's how it
basically
almost
about the
always
money.
is. It seems like it's
So
always all
something
about
is
the
up.
money. Money.
Yeah.
But the other thing of it is this. It's like, Matt and I was talking about it on that one. If they actually classify it, if they were to go through and say that, yes, truck driving is a skilled trade and treat it as such, they would absolutely have to pay a company driver more money. So, you couldn't just go. But see, that's that's a misconception you have in the public, though, that you're just driving a truck. I mean, how many times do you hear people say that? It can't be that hard. You're just driving a truck. Well, won't you come out here and operate an 80,000-pound missile that's
Yep.
75 feet long in some Nashville traffic? You live in Nashville. My sister lives in Nashville, dude. I call it Crashville. I mean, it really is. Hell,
is
I'd much,
Crashville,
to be
so we
honest,
call
I'd
it.
much rather drive in New York City than I would Chicago. I've told many of people that because of why don't you go operate one of these things in that nonsense traffic that's over there? Constantly getting cut off, constantly getting, you try to keep a proper following distance before you know it, 4 cars cut in there.
Oh,
And it's like, dude, we're
yeah, I like
hello.
that.
Hello. What are we doing here? So now go back. Let's talk about the health side that you wanted to talk about,
But
though.
but you see, it's even yes, the health side. So big news happened 3 days ago, which does could be awesome for all the truck driver. As you know, you have those lost injection,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
called
yeah.
Monjaro,
Yeah, the GLP ones,
Monjaro
like the
is that can
Wegovies
lose
and stuff
weight.
like that.
That
Yeah.
will also yes, that will reduce your sugar for you. It's gonna be a big thing for the truck driver because we eat bad. So that medicine
Oh, I
was
heard
used to
about this.
cost
Yes.
between $1,500 to $2,500 a month. Yes, and now we will have it's coming up in January 2026 when everybody can go online and with the TrumpRx.gov, you can have a saving card which we can pay the same medicine as
Yes.
low as
Yes.
$100 a month.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big change. That's without insurance. So if you have
Right.
insurance, you may go pay $25 on that thing. So it's a big thing for everybody because I take that. I lose
Yeah.
45 pounds in 1 year. I feel so much better. I've
Right.
been doing my blood
Right.
work. Everything is perfect. Perfect. And that's it. And I have a good health insurance, so that's why I have that. But I will say for all the truck driver, look at that because I know we lack of exercise. we eat not good often, and that can help you guys to manage your health because your health is your money, your health is your CDL.
Well, and
So
see,
take
there's
care
one
of
thing
yourself,
to
so
talk
you
about
can
that
totally
health
fine.
side. This is where the truck stops or travel centers need to start actually becoming what they were. They need to go back to the way it was when I started driving in 1997 and previous to that. When you hear about all these great stories of like the 70s and the 80s, driving a semi, and you would pull in and you could sit down and get a decent meal. You know, nowadays nowadays you go to a pilot, you got the hot
Well,
case or
yeah.
a slice of pizza,
Um,
which ain't much. It's either fried chicken of some sorts, which is usually
yeah.
some sort of massively thick breaded freaking chicken tender or whatever that's got like this much breading just on one side of it. And then, or some potato wedges. Um, or, or the other thing is, even if you go to sit down at one of these Denny's, most of this food is processed food that's coming into these locations. They're not making real food, if you will, in my opinion, real food. They're rewarming something that was either canned or frozen that came in on a truck. It's and that's hard to that's
Yeah,
hard on your
that's why
body.
I like to go
The
to some.
preservatives that they put in there, that's hard on your body. Now, I will say this,
Yes.
as far as the exercise thing goes, is this:
Yeah.
get out of your truck at the end of the night, park your truck back in the very back row, and walk all the way up to the front of the building to go take your
Will
shower and
do.
to get your chicken nuggets from McDonald's. Okay.
Hmm.
Or get a dog. Yes, get a dog. Then
Okay.
you got to
Get
walk
a
your dog
dog.
for 30
You
minutes
fix
every night.
yourself too.
You know, I mean, you got two little ones you keep in your truck, don't you? I think. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So you got to go walk. You got to go walk both puppers
Yep.
at the end of the
Yeah,
night.
sure
Let them
do.
take care of
Yeah,
all their
right
little
there. Yeah.
business that
No
they got to
sleep.
do and get all the waggles out of their tail, as we refer to it. So,
Yep.
or
Yep.
I do this too.
Oh, yeah.
This is why a lot of times
You find
you'll see
sleep.
me, guys and
Play.
gals out there. I'm the idiot that you'll see walking around the outside of the truck stop. I'm making my laps. I
Oh, that was you.
Well, you know what? I don't
Do you
wear
have
any of
some
the
like a
short
wig and
skirts and
like those
stuff.
pink
Okay,
wigs and
so
stuff like that?
no, I'm just the 6'2", 280-pound guy you see walking around talking on the phone, because I'll literally try to make sure that I walk for an hour every night.
Uh-huh.
I get out of the truck and I try to walk. So a lot of times when I'm talking to the old lady or I'm talking to friends, I get out and walk
I
around.
know some. I know some driver maybe say, okay, you know what, I'm too tired. Yeah, get some sleep, of course, but try to walk a little bit. Try to do something, and you'll sleep better. You'll be better. But I believe again that the medicine January 2026
Well,
is
that'll
going to be
help.
a
That'll be help with the
big
weight
help
loss.
for
The thing that
all
I
of
look
us.
at with the getting
I
out and
truly believe it.
walking, it's the
Yes.
what happens a lot of times, and this is where you see a lot of the guys and gals that started getting really bad cellulitis in their lower extremities because they're not getting up and moving. So you see that swelling, which is basically just fluid buildup in the lower
Right.
legs and the circulation because of sitting in the chair and sitting with
Yep.
your legs not. Because let's be honest, okay? Should every truck have the same room as one of those large car W9 or 379s for your legs? Yes, it should. It really should. But I can tell you right now, I've driven 359s,
Yep.
379s, 389s. I've driven a 579. I've driven a W9, 386. I own a Cascadia. Those firewalls, in my opinion, should be bumped out 6 more inches into the engine compartment to allow for better leg room. And yes, I'm 6'2", folks, but if you were to ever see me walk, I look like Marvin the Martian because I have a 30-inch end seat. I am all body, folks, like short little legs. And even that, I don't have enough leg room to kick my feet out all the way when I'm just cruising down the highway. You know, and so that extremely limits your
Hmm.
circulation capability. So that's why I say get out of the truck and walk. One of the other things you can do is stand by the side of your trailer or your truck and do squats. Just squat up and down. Do some lunges. Lunge forward to each leg.
Can you do
Sure,
a
I
video
will.
next time you do a squat so we can show that to everybody that is
Sure, if you
interesting
would
how to
like,
do it?
I will find a way to
People
set
can.
up I will get the camera and I'll magnetize it to the side of the trailer or the truck, and I will show you a workout video of what I try to do to just help with, keeping some circulation in your legs. And just simple exercise stuff that you don't need any weights to do.
and and if you guys, you listen to the podcast, if you have any comment, recommendation,
Yes.
idea, just go ahead and put some comment inside. We are all here. Just go ahead and put some comment, blast a
Leave the
comment.
negative
Don't put
stuff
any kind of
elsewhere. We don't want the negative in
vulgar or
here.
bad
We're all
comment
about the
because you will kick out.
positivity. So, yeah.
Yes.
But if you've got something to help out another truck driver, for sure, put it in the comments.
And that is so, yes. And that is so I'm going to, because I got a pretty good knowledge with the APU system for the evolution, I'm going to try to do something like a short video or how to kind of fix your APU and fix your system without spending so much money. This would be nice. Maybe one day we have like a kind of podcast to see what kind of big issue we can fix at a truck stop. Like, the sensor, we just clean it.
Yep.
A lot of small stuff that we
Yeah.
save you some
Oh,
money.
there's that. I mean,
Because you
there's a
can
lot
buy
of
some,
stuff that you
you know.
can do yourself on your truck with just going to Lowe's, Menards, Home Depot. You can order them online. Small tool
Yes.
sets. That's just got your simple. You can go to Harbor Freight. I don't care where you go.
Yep.
It's got your quarter, your 3/8, your half-inch drive. Sockets, ratchets. You can get a wrench roll set that literally rolls up. That'll have both your combination metric and standard on your sizes. It's about,
Yep.
I don't know, 6 inches in diameter when it's rolled up. But they're all there. You've got the entire wrench set, whatever you need.
That's what she said.
I'm going to tell you the other thing that if you're going to talk about working on stuff, wait until either one, Black Friday sales come around, or two, wait until Matt's. Come to Matt's 2026. See us. We're going to have a booth there. But also, Milwaukee is usually there, or some sort of tool salesman is there. Get yourself this is why I'm saying this, because these are the
We got
discounts.
big discounts.
Get yourself a half-inch impact, a 3/8 impact, a impact driver, and a drill. Those four things right there that are cordless, that if you have an inverter, you can charge in your truck, charge the batteries up. I try to make sure I have a battery for every item. So if you got four things there, you want a 4 or 5 amp hour batteries. And then it makes life a little easier to be able to change some of this stuff. Yes.
Hey, I changed my axle seat
Yes.
on the fucking truck stop with my impact. You can do. You can save you some. We are here just to help you out, guys, to make more money. Stop wasting money with all those truck stops for some petty stuff. Like last time, it was last week. It was a woman, and nothing against woman, okay. She was in line at the
Yeah.
TA to change the wiper blade. I said, why? How long? They go say about 4 or 5 hours. I said, okay, are you paying for your wiper blade? Yeah, well, get your wiper blade. I go in the truck, put a wiper blade, 10 minutes, she was gone. Help each other. If it's somebody in a truck stop with the hood open, just go outside. Say, hey man, are you okay? You need some help? I may have some tools that you can need, maybe.
Yeah.
How can I do to help you out?
Yeah,
Just
and
help
don't be
each
like
other.
what we've seen on some of these
Because
other
that would
videos,
be a
like
long
that
way.
one lady that we seen that the one gentleman just got out of the truck to try to help her back in, and she flipped out. Don't be that way. Because the thing of it is
Yeah.
folks like Pablo and myself here.
No.
We've been both. He's been doing this over 30 years. I've got almost 30 years. I'm at 28 right now. I literally was in Bloomsburg, PA the other day. I had to go to the bathroom. I get out of my truck. I go to walk inside to use the bathroom. Here's a Western Express driver. She's trying to back into the spot. It's tight. I went ahead and stopped. I asked her, do you need help? You want me to help guide you back in there? She said, yes, please. She said, I'm so exhausted. And I'm like, I understand completely. I've been there. Anybody who's been trucking for any time, you're
I've
going to
been through
find
all of
yourself
this.
tired. You're
Mhm.
exhausted. You're not having the greatest of days. It just happens. Helped her back right in.
Now one day I've been trying to back up and I could not. I was exhausted. What I did, I picked up my key on my truck. I drove as far as I can. And I walk over there and pick up my key and get back and back up. because
Yeah.
I don't have it. Say, okay, fine, I'm going to take a walk. You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, just help each other. It's go a long way. If you see a driver maybe have his head on the steering wheel, you think so he may be
Yeah.
taken
Keep
out,
an eye on
just
them.
make sure he's
If it's
taken
been
out.
over a half hour to
Just
45
check on
minutes,
the
maybe
driver.
go knock on the
Hey,
door.
are you
Maybe an
okay?
hour, something
Yes.
like that. But if you're sitting at a truck stop and that guy's been
Yeah.
sitting sleamed over that steering wheel for 3 hours, there's probably a problem. Most people are not going to be able to stay over a
Yeah.
steering wheel
Something is
for
wrong.
3 straight hours without moving
Yeah.
some way. Your body just kind of doesn't allow it. So,
No.
but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that out there, man, of helping each
Just
other out that needs to happen. So,
yeah.
yeah,
Just check on each one of us and just be kind. As much. I know it's not easy right now, guys, because we have some people make it easy on everybody, make it
open
hard on
mind,
everybody. Just
open your mind,
overlook on that.
open your mind.
Overlook. Just yes, open your mind. And just if somebody is in the bathroom and you think so he's shaving his face because on the sink, ask him, hey man, you want a shower? I got a shower credit. I don't mind to give you one.
It does. It
Just
goes a long
help
way.
each other.
And I
We
will
go a
tell
long
you
way.
this: if you see somebody, I don't know how many times that I've given out. I want out. Somebody needed a shower. Hey, I'll walk inside. I need team shower. What do you mean? I need team shower. What's team? Oh,
Yep.
okay. Hold on a minute. They give me the two. Walk
Mm-hmm.
back over to that gentleman or lady. Here you go. There you go. Go enjoy your shower. I'll catch you later.
Give it to him.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, every one of them offers team showers. Go
Yep.
use it. Use it. We if they don't want
Yep.
to, if they're going to make
Yep.
it hard on us, let's make it hard back on them on some of this stuff, because they are making it hard on us with lack of food, with the
You're
parking
right.
situation. A lot of times, they all want their toilet paper, their Butterfingers, and they want their bottled water. Well, something's got to give. So, if we've got guys and gals out here
Yep.
that need showers, let's get
Mm-hmm.
team showers. Walk inside, say you need a team shower. You see two people out there, and you've already showered, and you got an extra shower credit. Walk over there and say, I need a team shower. You just took care of two showers for one person over there.
Team
We know
shower.
you're going to go get another shower.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you get on like Pilot's got the shower power, so you get unlimited showers for the next
Yep.
month. I know Love's does something similar to that. Where you get so many credits, it's unlimited showers for the month. Use them up, man. Use them up. Don't let these guys and gals out here go
Yeah.
without
Do it.
showers. You
Yep.
know. And the other thing is, though, talk to people. Put your cell phone down for 5 seconds and go have a conversation with another truck driver. I think that's one thing that definitely lacks out here in this industry as well, is the lack of communication between truckers. We used to have what we laugh about it, call it the liar's counter or whatever, where
Yep.
all of us would sit there in a U shape or whatever and tell stories and laugh and joke and stuff like that. Because, well, back then we didn't have cell phones, you know. So the only communication you got was sitting at a counter and talking to your fellow man or woman that's been out there doing their thing. Yeah, yeah, the old horseshoe counter, liar's counter.
The
Yeah,
horseshoe.
there's a
Oh,
lot
the
of
horseshoe.
different.
Remember
Yep,
the
go to the
horseshoe, the
horseshoe. Have a
restaurants?
conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Put the cell
Yep.
phone down for 5 minutes.
Yep.
TikTok will be there later on, folks. I promise you, it will be.
Yep.
You can listen to all that nonsense as you go down the road. Get out of the truck, go walk around, talk to people. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
help them out. Have fun. Yeah, go back to having fun. That's one
Have
thing we
fun.
definitely need to do,
Have
is
fun.
bring some fun back to this industry.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things. I
Enjoy.
remember doing
On the
those when I was
barbecue on the
stuck
back of
out
the
for
trailer,
3 or 4
remember?
months. Man, I would
You
have
have
a
a grill on the
barbecue
back of the
almost every
trailer.
weekend. Break out. We'd be always park in the back row. There'd be 2 or 3 of
Right
us
on
that
that.
never
Yeah.
failed. We're breaking out the grills,
Yep.
hamburgers, hot dogs, steaks, pork chops, barbecue chicken.
Yep.
Throw it, if it was that time of year, get
Yep.
some corn on the cob going or something like that. Get your aluminum foil out, put your veggies in one spot.
Uh-huh.
Cook y'all some green beans or something, baked potatoes.
If you know, and if you don't have like a grill or whatever that stuff, I will give you a trick. I used to do before, way before. I used to have eat ham a chicken, and I put medium for you, chicken, potato, corn inside, a little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, fold it, double wrap.
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing
I've
that
heard. Yeah,
by my exhaust. When my truck was running, I got a oven. I was stopping. My food
yeah,
was
yeah. I
delicious. It
know
was
that's an
warm,
old
nice
school
and
trick
hot
of
and empty.
definitely cooking on the engines. Yeah, Well, that exhaust is like what? It's
Oh
like
yeah.
700-800 degrees or something like
Uh-huh.
that. No, what I'm
Well, I
saying
don't
is
put
right
about engine,
above
it's
it.
going to burn. But just on the
Your
top, you
your
know what I mean?
manifold's
I
seven,
used
eight
to
hundred
put like a
degrees.
zip.
So heat rises is where I
Yes,
was
yes,
going
sir.
with this.
Yes, sir.
So if you could put it right above
Yep.
that, it's literally like being in an oven.
Damn right.
You know? Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was good.
I don't know how many
That
cans
was
of
good.
like corned
Yeah.
beef and hash or chili. You know, I'd
Oh yeah.
stick it right over there, kind of close by it. And you
Uh-huh.
know, I'd do it while I was unloading or something like that.
Stick
Put
it
a
right
little
up.
hole in the top of the can so that it can exhaust the pressure. Stick it over and let it do its thing. Mind you, you better
Yeah.
remember to always wear gloves when
Mm-hmm.
removing that because it's going to be hot. You know, we don't need to have
Oh,
people
that's
with
right.
burns on your little
Yep.
fingertips there. But yeah,
You can
oh
burn
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, yeah.
Mm. But to say it was a good talking today. We have lots of fun, lots of knowledge.
Well,
You guys,
we
you
do
do a
them usually
podcast every
before
Sunday,
Monday,
correct,
but
or
yeah,
every
we
week?
release them on Monday. Monday that gives me time to add the intro and the
Yeah.
outro and stuff to it.
Okay.
Make sure that like on our first
Sure.
podcast where the Northman decided to not wear his headphones, and it took me 13 hours to remove the double talk that was in that. So yeah, every time I talked, I got
Oh
to hear
no, no,
myself and then hear it again. So
no. I hope so. This one go. I hope so. This one
yeah,
goes
I think
smooth
we'll
on
be
your
good.
end.
So
Yeah,
hey, it was
I'm
good
glad.
talking to you, buddy. We'll I'll let you get back to it. I got to be getting on the road here in about an hour and a half
Me
anyway.
too,
So
Cupcake. You,
well,
and
we
clean the mouse
I,
too.
yeah,
Clean the
they
mouse.
got the sticky trap. So that's what it was. It's that time of year. I live in the country. We put sticky traps out because well, they just did the field over here
Hey, it is what it is.
a couple weeks ago. So whenever that happens, you just give it time. There's always one or
There are
two we
one.
catch every year. So, you know,
Yep.
yes. Everybody
But
have a good week.
you all be safe, please. Everybody on
Yes.
the world,
And
please
we'll talk to y'all
be
later.
kind and be
It's
safe.
good. Yeah, shake and bake. Ricky Bobby.
Shake and bake, baby. All right. Shake and bake.
Thanks for rolling with us on the new Trucking Standard, brought to you by the Federation of Professional Truckers. From our seats to the nation we serve, stay safe out there and keep on trucking.